Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today is the Strength card. I believe this is the same card that we pulled yesterday as our first card. So we are holding a lot in the same position that we may have experienced yesterday. A lot of that feeling of energetic strength coming into play. What did we experience that we were seeing, that we were discussing yesterday? A lot of that work, again, through that Taurus season, felt like that building of energetic momentum. This is that moment now that we're feeling that gaining strength, as a lot of that work that may have felt like you were climbing forward through during Taurus season is now reaching that moment of amplifying and starting to move with more vitality or more energetic vigor. This is having a different impact depending on where you are in the frequency cycles. For masculine and feminine energy, deep in the heart of the divine union, that is the reaffirmation of the pathwork that you've been navigating thus far. Because for a lot of that energy, your own ability of being able to look back on past experiences with that deepened sense of insight, with that deepened sense of understanding, that isn't necessarily requiring a space or place that you may be changing your plans, but that reaffirmation in relationality to how you are navigating forward, it feels like it is validating a lot of that work. It feels like that moment that you are building forward towards yourself, specifically in those moments or experiences that feel like you're building that sense of validation and understanding by being able to look at something with a renewed sense of strength and vitality. There could be a lot of introspection that is occurring right now for a lot of the energy deep in the heart of the divine union frequency in this way, because this is that energetic commitment to one's own self that feels like you're experiencing and feeling the value of that work as you proceed forward from this point. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union right now, a lot of this energetic work that we're effectively seeing at this time is the amplification point of recognizing and identifying that feeling of moving forward on pathwork in energetic alignment. A lot of this energy that we saw that was going through the Taurus season had that moment of uncovering wounds, seeing one's vulnerabilities, experiencing those points of recognizing in the counterpart, those parts of the self that we work so hard to remain energetically hidden. If these are spaces or places where in the energy coming into divine union was showing each other those wounds, almost showing them the things that they're bringing in from outside of the divine union, being able to look at another person's vulnerability and say, that says to me that it is a strength. That is the energetic act of compassion that the energy is feeling via the counterpart, because that is that moment that feels like that reaffirmation as it relates to your own pathwork at this time. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy doing that work right now, that is that moment that we see that a lot of those plans are changing or gaining momentum, because it doesn't feel so much like you're moving out of alignment with one's own self. It feels like that sense of prioritizing of the counterpart energy is one that feels like it is reaffirming or making you feel stronger as you navigate forward on your path. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is either going to be allowing for breakthroughs in separation, new energetic connections that are feeling the value and strength of having learned some of that previous lesson, or this is a moment of energetic potential separation in spaces or places wherein you may be observing and recognizing that that ability to speak forward isn't present or relevant. We identify that for a lot of the energy over the last 30 days, a lot of that work between the full moons was building into new energetic connections that were forming during this time. And a lot of those new energetic connections that we're effectively seeing during this time were being amplified in the ability of navigating forward and recognizing points of view, feeling that you've taken the same energetic lessons from experiences from the past, even if you experience them in different ways. However, the ability to recognize and understand that the ability to look back on the past with a point of observation, being able to see something in a different way, having that shared view and context as it relates to the past experience needs to be ratioed out with an ability to talk forward in terms of where one desires to go, what one desires to do. This is a lot of the pinnacle point for a lot of the work that we saw that energy and separation has been navigating specifically over like this last 10-month cycle that we've been experiencing. And it is having a different impact depending on whether you align to masculine or feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine energy, that ability to observe, that ability to come into that space or place of the feminine, not wanting to build forward in connections to masculine from a place or space of assumption. This isn't the feminine energy assuming, even if it's not spoken, that what they desire from the masculine is the same thing. This is the feminine energy that is needing to see that ability of masculine to be able to speak towards what it is they want in the future, to amplify the ability of recognizing an ability to move away from something in the energetic past. That point of closure, that point of observation, the recognition that by speaking towards the future, we move towards closing out experiences from the past. That isn't coming through right now as a moment of the feminine feeling like they're going to move forward in connection with masculine and experience the energetic victory of receiving that at some point down the line. This is the feminine energy that needs to see the masculine's own ability to articulate what it is that they're hoping to manifest with the feminine as a validation point, as an energetic requirement to proceed forward into energetic connection. That is requiring a lot of strength on the part of the feminine, because that is the feminine energy that is holding that point of resiliency, that is attenuating the resiliency that was learned over those past cycles, where a lot of the breakthrough of understanding was the potential misalignment that the feminine walked towards in not necessarily having that clarification point as it relates to what the manifestation was, but almost coming to that place of energetic assumption. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, for masculine energy and separation right now, this is also a moment that feels like a test of one's own energetic courage. Because if this is masculine energy, has been going through that energetic cycle of learning the lesson of not wanting to build in a world of illusion with feminine, recognizing the difference of how it feels to build around a feminine as opposed to building with a feminine. What is required to build authentically with the feminine energy is the ability to speak authentically about what it is that you hope to manifest and desire. So for a lot of the masculine energy working on their own healing journey, this ability to be able to articulate to the feminine what it is that you see, what it is that you aspire for the future, that is feeling like that moment that is testing your own inner strength, because that almost feels like that act of vulnerability that requires so much energetic strength in the process. This is also coming through right now for the masculine, feeling the validation point of recognizing and understanding that in a way this is how the masculine energy, even if there isn't energetic alignment with the feminine as it relates to the manifestation goals, shows the feminine energy that you yourself are on that healing journey, because one's own ability to amplify and articulate what it is that you desire from the feminine also reassures the feminine that something that you desire to manifest is a manifestation goal, that the feminine energy is you're trying to build with them, and also is one that you know the feminine energy would also seek in kind. So we see even now a lot of that work is building forth in point of strength, because that is either the moment that we're seeing that a lot of energy might be moving into the divine union frequency right now from separation, or stepping away from an energetic connection if they don't see the ability to articulate what it is the other is trying to manifest. Second card in our 5-card spread for today is, this card might look familiar as well. We also pulled this card yesterday in the same position. It was also one of the first 5 cards that we received, and that is the Devil card in its reversal. For a lot of the energy in separation, what's very beautiful about this path work that we're recognizing and identifying is these are moments and opportunities where the ability to recognize someone that does not have the same manifestation goal as you is not an energetic act of rejection. This is where that confidence is occurring right now for so much of the healed masculine, because this is the masculine energy and separation that has come through that pathwork, and recognizing that if you bring forth a manifestation to feminine and the feminine is not in a line to it, that isn't something that you need to take energetically personally. That's the healed masculine recognizing their own strength in accepting that in order to facilitate a healthy energetic partnership with the feminine, there needs to be that mutual desire and alignment in terms of building forth towards a manifestation goal. You can't fake that. You can't artificially create that. That's a masculine energy that's almost, again, leading forth from a place of authenticity, because when we lead forth from a place of authenticity, when we're able to express our manifestation goals towards feminine, masculine energy and healing recognizes that you do one of two things that are both positive and energetically healing. One, being able to speak from a point of authenticity is being able to express that your own dream is something that you yourself can manifest. While second of all, your ability to articulate what that manifestation dream is to the feminine also builds a safety net for the feminine, because that is the feminine energy that feels safe and protected in your contact, because they're recognizing that your authenticity, your integrity is such that your own expression of the manifestation goal helps the feminine recognize that that's not a manifestation goal that you're not revealing to them because there's a fear that the feminine energy would not also want it in kind. It is something that you are willingly offering from a point of view of wanting to them to be that active participant in building that moment with you. So we see even now that this is a lot of the masculine energy going through that process, and even the ability to speak authentically on that, even if surrendering to a certain extent the outcome, that ability to do so is healing a lot of energetic connections here. And even if there isn't alignment in relationality to what those manifestation goals are, we see even now that that is an energetically healing moment, because that is the restoration of path work that feels like the amplification of potentially continuing to form some other form of a positive energetic connection, but with a sense of easement on the way. While for some of the energy right now, this is some energy and separation that's starting to move into the divine union frequency potentially, because there's that moment of feeling that sense of authenticity and clarity. Because what's happening for a lot of the feminine energy that may be experiencing this, being able to build forth in an energetic connection with energy that can authentically articulate what it is that they are desiring to manifest. Having the feminine energy, just seeing that ability in the masculine, reinforces and reinvigorates the possibility or potentiality of something that could change going forward. So you see even now that if these are energies that want different energetic things at this time, even in separation, that observational point of being able to speak authentically towards it, that is that moment that almost allows for some context in being able to navigate forward in such a way of keeping an open mind on the possibilities. Because this is the energy of, again, the feminine that is seeing and experiencing a modality where they are experiencing a moment where they recognize that that ability to adapt isn't taken as an assumption. It's taken as an energetic gift. And the gift that the feminine masculine offers the feminine, that creates that context by which the feminine could be more adaptable, is truth, clarity, honesty. So even now, if these are energies that do not want the same things, you see that there is still something beautiful that is occurring between them, because they're speaking on those things from a place of honesty, openness, and clarity. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that's moving with a lot more velocity to try to navigate forward, to try to energetically heal things. If these were energies that were holding back or saying, well, we may as well take our time, there's that feeling of inevitability that's occurring right now, where the tangible space is becoming the obstruction in the energetic connection, because this is an energy that feels like the connectivity into partnership is moving them off of their path work. It feels like it is reinforcing the direction that they were already headed. So when we see that, that's almost that amplification in feeling that determination point that a lot of this energy is experiencing right now. I told you, it's like that feeling that we saw that the Taurus season was like that feeling of climbing the hill. This is that rapidity in coming down the hill, because it's that moment that almost feels like that sense of trust, being able to feel that you want the same things from speaking authentically and clearly, like we see the energy and separation is doing, is leading to that moment of building a lot of renewed strength and vigor, because that's not that moment that feels like you're modifying or adjusting for the counterpart. That feels like you're moving with energy that's moving the same way that you are moving. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep in the heart of the divine union frequency. This is feeling the vitality and strength of discovering things that you didn't even expect or anticipate to heal, that you are potentially healing right now, simply via being in an energetic space or place that helps you build a context to something that you could not see before in your own experience from a better point of view or better vantage point. And that is a moment that feels very amplifying and reaffirming as you experience it. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here our Empress card in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy working through a lot of this process that we're seeing right now in the divine union frequency. This has a lot to do with the ability of the energy to recognize some of the energetic breakthroughs that they're having in relationality to their perception of the past. For masculine energy, when we're able to heal our feminine energy, your ability to heal your feminine energy is allowing you to, via healed feminine energy. Having the point of the healed feminine counterpart near you is building clarity and context for what you may have experienced from the past that was not healed. But furthermore, it's not just the fact that you are experiencing that from a point of view of experiencing and seeing something in a way that you haven't seen it before, but that ability of potentially recognizing that the unhealed feminine energy from the past may have been unhealed because they were in unhealthy relationships, because they were working through those same energetic problems. This is why we see that so much of the masculine energy is moving forward in this way, because this is the reaffirmation of the masculine energy in not wanting to create or repeat cycles through which the feminine energy comes into a state or space of doubting themselves, because that is that moment that creates the wound in the masculine, right? That is the masculine recognizing and identifying and seeing that energetic cycle and wanting to do the work that they can, and recognizing that by healing their own self, they heal the feminine energy as a result of that work. While for feminine energy right now, deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, your own ability of over-internalizing situations and circumstances that were happening outside of the self. This is being amplified and fortified by the connection towards healed masculine energy that is helping you recognize your own value, your own worth. So when these energies are assisting and they're acting as the context by which we can see the healed energetic counterpart energy, that allows us to further heal our own path work, because that sees how we may have mislaid lessons in the past that created the state or space where a lot of that healing was necessary in the first place. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, that energetic equivalent, that ability of moving into the divine union frequency right now is being reinforced and reinvigorated by that feeling of energetic security, by that feeling of the amplification of moving towards someone, and it doesn't feel like it's getting you off of your path work. This is energy that may be building up momentum right now, because it feels like if you experience someone that wants the same things that you want to manifest, and you've done that path work of seeing each other's vulnerabilities, but also making space for them, not seeing anything there that feels like you aren't able to accept, that is that amplification point that a lot of this energy is just reinvesting very heavily on their path work, and potentially even expediting some of those energetic processes right now, because that's that moment that almost feels like that amplification of saying, well, if the energy is moving in the same direction as me and the energy wants the same things, then what is the necessary reason to prevent continuing to move forward with that sense of velocity or that sense of energetic momentum? So we see even now that some of that energy right now is having that moment of healing. And a lot of it is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine energy, a lot of that desire of wanting to feel that reinforcement point and moving closer towards feminine right now, or amplifying that sense of energetic healing, that is that moment of, again, the masculine energy It doesn't feel like moving towards the feminine is pulling you off your path. It feels like the feminine energy is on your path. And that's why we see even now when we say that these energies are creating something from nothing. These aren't energies that are deviating, but the strength of the energetic connection is reinforcing their own commitment to the pathwork that they're building together. While for feminine energy, this is that moment that you are effectively or energetically healing from past experiences where you may have experienced energy that was more reluctant, energy that was more like cautionary. This is the feminine energy that's going through a lot of process of healing by feeling the pathwork of determination of what it truly feels like when a masculine energy knows what it is that they want and they move towards it with that sense of certainty. So this is the feminine energy that's almost in seeing, again, much like the energy deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, seeing the masculine energy building into that pathwork of determination. It's also helping the feminine energy heal a lot of that past experience outside of the divine union frequency, because it's almost serving as a optic point in what they experience but versus what they're experiencing presently. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is either one of those moments where we see a lot of energy that is reaffirming their commitment right now in either moving into the divine union frequency through the act of being able to articulate what the manifestation goals are. Or these are energies that if there is that ability to articulate what the manifestation goals are and those manifestation goals are not aligned, this is not the energy that is coming into that state or space of energetically overshifting, right? Because if this is the masculine energy that is being open and expressive towards feminine, telling the feminine energy what their manifestation goals are, that is the masculine energy that is taking that leap of faith, that going through that trial of energetic strength, of healing the energetic connection by leaving themselves vulnerable as to whether the feminine energy is in alignment with that manifestation goal, or it is not something that the feminine energy feels like they are in the direction of moving towards. So the ability for this to, even now in separation, having that ability of identifying and describing and having an open conversation about what those manifestation goals are in any context, is creating a space where the feminine feels like there is something there of value that can continue to heal, even if that energy is shifting where they're holding each other in the space of their own energetic life. So that ability to identify whether there's a possibility of moving into divine union or not, this isn't the feminine energy that's shutting the door on an energetic connection. They're leaving the possibility of anything being possible. The only context through which we see that feminine energy may be moving away from masculine energy right now is if there is an inability or a reluctance to speak towards manifestation goals, because that is the feminine energy that is reaffirming their own commitment of not feeling like it is their job to force the spring of the masculine. This is not the feminine energy that's moving out of into partnership, saying that the ability to articulate what you would desire to manifest is an accomplishment on the part of the feminine energy. This is the feminine energy that's reaffirming that that is not an accomplishment to be waited upon. That is a requirement to proceed forward. Fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is one card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Swords, and it's in its upright. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation. This is either going to feel like a point of energetic breakthrough, or it's going to feel like a moment of energetic vindication. Because even now, what we're effectively or energetically seeing, and I need to stress this, because what are we seeing on the part of the masculine energy? One of the reasons that we're seeing that this is so difficult for some of the masculine energy going through this modality right now could potentially be those spaces or places. Some of the healed masculine energy right now potentially went into separation in spaces or places wherein you brought forth a manifestation goal too late, right? And that feeling of the feminine energy potentially not being in alignment because it was something about the manifestation goal that they did not feel like they knew or accepted. That ability of masculine trying to lead forth and learning the energetic lesson and saying, I'm going to be able to be extremely honest to the feminine from the start. I'm going to work on being completely clear to the feminine from the start. Even if that leads to a space or place right now where the feminine energy says that manifestation goal is not what I effectively desire. This is not the masculine energy that is taking that energetically personally. This is the masculine energy that feels like they have had a breakthrough even in those moments occurring, because this is the masculine energy that is reminding themselves of the fact that when the feminine energy does not desire the same manifestation goal as us, that isn't something to be taken personally. That is the masculine recognizing that there isn't energetic alignment there in terms of desiring the same things. So this is the masculine energy that's almost, and even now, having that be a positive moment, instead of that feeling like it's creating a rupture space, but almost the energy of the feminine being able to articulate to the masculine in such a way of saying, that's not, what you desire and what I desire are different things, but I don't take that energetically personally. That ability, even in, I need to stress this, even in a moment of lack of alignment, feels like an energetic victory, because that feels like that moment, as it were, wherein the masculine sees the difference energetically in what is shaping through, even if the manifestation isn't the same, because it is showing the fact that the feminine energy trusts the masculine, and the ability of the feminine to see that ability of the masculine taking that trust fall, taking that leap of faith to the feminine, to be able to have the confidence and bravery to articulate what they truly aspire and desire, so that the feminine energy can amplify their own choice in moving in that direction. Even that feels like it is a healing moment between these energetic frequencies if there isn't alignment at play. Well, for a lot of the energy right now, that ability to see that moment occurring is leading a lot of energy right now moving into the divine union frequency, because that is that moment that feels like an alignment point and saying, I want the same things that you want, right? So even now, either this is leading to spaces or places of deepening into the divine union frequency, alignment is being reached, or even if there's separation here, it feels like separation in good terms, a point of positivity, a point of catharsis, even at the moment of recognizing that energies want different things, because the ability to articulate on it prior to forming the energetic connection isn't creating something painful. It's creating that acknowledgement of not wanting to create that pain further down the line. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, and again, the only space or place that we're seeing that this is actually leading to complete and total separation are places or spaces wherein the feminine energy is seeking that clarification on the manifestation goal. If this is the masculine energy that is not able to articulate upon it, this is the feminine energy that's just accepting that is the case, and almost stepping back from their own self, energetically pulling away from the masculine energy, because this is the feminine energy reaffirming and saying that it is not the feminine's energetic responsibility or accomplishment to have the masculine energy articulate what their manifestation goal is. This is the feminine that is reaffirming to themselves that that is a requirement for partnership possibility, not an accomplishment once within. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union and in the heart of the divine union. This is just a massive amount of energetic healing that's coming through right now. And it feels like it's building upon itself, because that's that moment or that trajectory that we see, that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, this could be the advancement point in plans. A lot of plans potentially shifting and changing and moving with more rapidity, because there's that moment that, again, these aren't energies that are moving towards manifestation goals for the sake of changing the energetic frequency. These are energies that feel like they're coming towards each other because it's the amplification of what they already feel. While for masculine and feminine energy deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, this is your ability of being so deep in the heart of the divine union frequency now that you're able to look back on experiences from the past with a clearer sense of optics. And that is that moment that feels like it is validating of the self. It is a little bit harder for the feminine energy right now as opposed to the masculine. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Why? Because we're seeing here that for the feminine energy, that observational point of potentially having overly internalized something that was externally happening around you, that can feel very energetically triggering, because that's a lot of the lesson of the energetic discernment of the feminine, to make sure that they are being energetically scrupulous in relationality to the type of energy that they maintain around themselves, to avoid that from happening in the present context. That's that moment that we recognize that even when we're healed, our own healing journey can be impeded by the energy around us if they're not in the same effective vibration. While for masculine energy right now, a lot of the masculine energy, this is the masculine energy that's feeling that pathwork of purpose. What happens with the healed masculine energy? They lean forward to want to protect and navigate forward in a place of energetically protecting the feminine energy from the unhealed masculine energy, but also in recognizing and understanding that for the masculine energy, their own ability of being energetically mindful towards feminine energy that is also healing is the valuation point. This is the energy that is building the valuation point in recognizing and identifying how to perceive that going forward. And for the feminine, that is that moment of being energetically mindful of not externalizing not internalizing something that is happening externally. And for the masculine, that is that moment of seeing and observing the feminine that has done that work of not overly emoting in a way that doesn't allow for that point of clarity in relationality to what it is that the feminine needs based on the emotions that they're energetically feeling. So we see even now that these are these energies that are almost articulating to each other what they've discovered or learned from observing those points in the past that are reinforcing and reinvigorating their own pathwork going forward. Fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here our 5 of Pentacles in its reversal. So the ability to navigate forward and to heal that energetic wound. This is how these energies are healing those abandonment wounds. And I need to stress this. When we work through these abandonment wounds, it's not a moment or opportunity wherein we can ever completely move them away, right? They're always within us to a certain capacity. But the energy that is working on the healing journey is able to observe when those wounds rise up to the surface. The ability to observe, to recognize, and to understand them is what is allowing for a lot of that energetic breakthrough moment, because that is the moment where it's not that you're not feeling the same way, but your own reactivity in that space is what is facilitating and identifying the fact that you are energetically healed. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into the divine union frequency, this observational point, this ability of navigating forward, a lot of this energy coming into divine union had a lot of those traumas. They had a lot of those triggers that came through the cycle between the Scorpio full moon and the Sagittarius full moon. The ability to navigate forward, to see each other's vulnerabilities and weaknesses, but hold them from a space of energetic compassion and care. This is the energetic equivalent to the energy that's moving towards each other, not because they can predicate upon what is going to occur moving forward, but because that's the energy of saying, no matter what occurs, I want to be with you as we do so. So that is, again, that energy that is navigating forward, navigating both with the sense of energetic excitement in relationality to what those manifestation goals are, but not moving in that direction for the sake of the manifestation goal, moving towards each other because the prioritization point is just being in energetic union, come what may. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, this is the energy that is working through the successful pathwork of recognizing how to avoid unhealthy karmic connections. A lot of these energies here are working through past experiences where we see that there were painful wounds that were created. How were those wounds formed? By energy that built an energetic or passionate connection with someone and then identified and recognized that your manifestation goals were different? What occurs when we build forth in energetic connections where we have different manifestation goals? We start to feel more of that push-pull, right? So that energy, not wanting to recreate what feels like a painful energetic cycle, is building forward in such a way right now to articulate and identify if there is that alignment prior to building an energetic connection, to validate and to prevent experiences where you may build an energetic connection and then you start pulling against each other, and that's that moment that creates that sense of energetic conflict. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy, that ability to articulate upon what the manifestation goal is, the breakthrough point is recognizing that if someone does not meet and match your manifestation goal, it is not an act of personal rejection. It is the observational point that energy desires different things. That ability of not taking something energetically personally about another person's manifestation goal is what is allowing, even now, even in energies where there isn't alignment, harmony, healing. Because to be able to have a productive conversation on that, instead of having to just energetically play it out, it feels like a healing moment as opposed to something that is creating opposition. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Strength card and our Devil card in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our High Priestess. If this card looks familiar, it's because we got it yesterday. We've got a lot of repetition cards here. So this is a lot of the continuation of the path work that may have begun yesterday. Masculine and feminine energy that is deep, that is in separation. This is that modality that even in the articulation and the ability to speak towards something, as opposed to just assuming what is, that is the milestone of accomplishment for the feminine energy, because this is the feminine energy that's learned some kind of karmic lesson of saying, when I assume, I don't get validation. When I assume, I create a space of uncertainty. This is the feminine energy saying there doesn't need to be assumption in building an energetic connection with masculine, so long as the masculine energy is able to articulate upon what it is that they truly want and desire. And this is the feminine energy that is, again, if they're not seeing that present, the feminine energy isn't agonizing or overly internalizing that it's not there. The feminine energy is just moving again in that binary of saying it's either present or it's not. The masculine energy either knows what they want or they don't know what they want. The masculine energy does not need to build that manifestation goal dependent upon my own self and the point I play in that experience. This is the feminine energy recognizing and saying, if a masculine has a manifestation goal, they've got a manifestation goal. They should be able to express it. So this is, again, that feminine energy just utilizing and holding strength by being objective, and not allowing that space or place of saying, well, maybe if I stick around long enough, the masculine energy will be willing to reveal manifestation goal, because the feminine saying that's not energetically healthy. The masculine energy feeling like the gift that they drop to the feminine is telling the feminine their manifestation goal. That's the feminine energy saying that's not healed masculine energy. While for the masculine energy, this is the same modality. If you're in the healing presence, if the feminine energy is asking a simple question, you're recognizing and identifying that anything that's in the place of openness and clarity, that clarity that you provide, that is that moment that shows the respect, shows the appreciation, that you energetically protect the feminine by being authentic, by being open, by overcoming your own fear and your own vulnerability, by speaking honestly towards feminine, because that's that moment that you say to the feminine, this is what my manifestation goal is. I'm not keeping it from you because I don't feel like you're in alignment to it. I'm articulating to it to determine if you are or not. So we see even now that these are the energies, even if there isn't alignment here, there's still a beautiful energetic connection that is surviving and thriving and growing, because that's that moment that feels like that sense of energetic kinship from a point of clarity and openness, but being able to articulate and say, we just want different things. While for masculine and feminine energy, some of this energy is moving into the divine union because you're having that energetic breakthrough in being able to have an open conversation of this measure and recognizing that you want the same things. These are, and I will stress, these aren't energies that are reaffirming a commitment to one another in the process of having that conversation. That's that energy that, again, the minute that that understanding is there, it creates that sense of confidence and that wait and see approach, because this is the energy saying, good, just making sure that we're on the same page, because that is the energy that's starting to move towards divine union, right? It's a slow energetic equivalent. That's that moment that feels like that sigh of relief that allows you to feel like you can proceed, because that in itself is the first step in recognizing and saying, we want the same things. There's a possibility here that that could lead to something energetically beautiful. While for the energy deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, this is feeling and experiencing that energetic beauty, specifically in relationality to moving forward with plans. A lot of this energy right now that is coming into the divine union frequency, they're feeling that validation, they're feeling that easement, because having that modality of feeling like you're in alignment with another energy, reinforcing and feeling that sense of energetic trust that we see that a lot of this energy has been building upon over the last few weeks, and then feeling that affirmation of the prioritization being to be with the energetic counterpart. That's that moment or modality that feels like the strengthening of the energetic connection, because it's not the goal to try to move towards a manifestation. That is just the energetic equivalent of the desire to be with the counterpart come what may. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Devil card in its reversal and our Empress card in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Six of Swords in its upright. Masculine and feminine energy that is in the divine union frequency. This is what we mean even now, because this is the energetic equivalent of feeling that sense of desire, of feeling that sense of longing. But that is that moment that feels like the amplification point in the energetic surrender, because we see even now that for a lot of the energy that's having those breakthroughs in the divine union frequency, it's not that moment or modality that you can go back to the past. It's not those spaces or places that you can energetically return towards someone, but your own ability of recognizing and identifying and feeling the energetic certainty of the masculine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, feeling the vibration and the confidence of the healed masculine that is able to articulate what it is that they want with you and moving on that path of determination with you. There's that moment that even though there is uncertainty, the uncertainty isn't the uncertainty of not knowing where someone stands or what they want. It is the uncertainty of just not knowing what is on the next, like what is on the next vista. Like what is on the next horizon point. That's that sigh of energetic relief, because that doesn't feel to the feminine like the feminine needs to take a wait and see approach. It feels like the wait and see approach has to do with like the practical things, not the energetic connection. While for masculine and masculine in that divine union frequency, this is that same energetic equivalent that we're effectively seeing. That is the amplification of feeling like you yourself are also healing your connection with the feminine, which is reaffirming your own plans, because that was those moments or spaces or places that you may recognize in the past that your own anxiety or fear, or potentially working with feminine energy that felt like they weren't necessarily able to articulate what it is that they wanted, right? That this is also something that you're energetically healing, because this is that moment that feels like, again, that confidence and certainty that is reached, where these energies aren't leaning on each other to understand what the other desires. They are able to affirm what it is they want. that recommits their own energetic effort towards building towards a place that they aspire and desire to go. So even now we see that for masculine, what's difficult about that is it does create that sense of overly energetically wanting to protect the feminine in that modality, because again, that is that protectiveness of the energy that is created in those moments or spaces of recognizing and feeling the weight of carrying the compassion of experiencing those places and spaces that may have brought that energetic resiliency to the feminine in the first place, right? That is almost that modality that we're seeing that is happening right now coming into divine union. That is the articulation point of reaffirming and saying, I'm going to this is a masculine energy going, I'm going to make it up to you. Even if it's not mine to carry, even if there's some places that you experience something, I'm going to energetically make it up to you, because that is the masculine energy that's almost stepping up for the masculine energy in that pathwork of purpose. That is the recognition point of the masculine that is also feeling that they're healed enough to do so. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. For the masculine, continuing to get clarification between our Empress in its reversal and our Knight of Swords in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with, we've got here our King of Wands, and it's in its upright. If this card looks familiar, this was our bottom of the deck yesterday. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is in the divine union frequency. This is the energetic equivalent of the masculine that is feeling that sense and that worthiness of their own personal path and cause, because their own ability to heal. What happens when the masculine energy is able to heal their feminine energy? That ability of recognizing things creates an ability to see things from the feminine perspective. That sense of empathy, that understanding, that recognition point, it almost reinvigorates the masculine energy in that modality, because that ability of seeing something from the feminine perspective, it creates that sense of recognition, not just towards the feminine, but also towards anything that they may have experienced in the past that may have been the result of an unhealed feminine energy. Because that ability of seeing the healed feminine is giving the masculine the template of healing the feminine energy within the self to the same degree. And that ability of doing so is that reaffirmation that we see that a lot of the masculine energy is navigating even in the divine union right now. Because that is one that the masculine feels like they're not just doing it for their own self, but they're doing it for all of the masculine energy around them. Right? That feels like the gift that the masculine can give back to others. That is that moment of being able to heal an energetic lesson by recognizing and identifying that by healing the masculine, you heal the feminine. While for the feminine energy, that same pathwork of energetic resiliency, recognizing and identifying, being able to build energetically resilient in such a way that you can identify what is an internal problem versus what is externally navigated. That is also that moment by which you set the energetic standard through which you build forth with masculine, that allows the masculine to become their highest version of self, via not matching the energetic frequency of the unhealed masculine energy, but holding that energetic standard so that the masculine energy can find themselves on the way. That is the feminine that does that work on the self, not just for the self, but also to heal the energetic connection between masculine and feminine. While for masculine and feminine energy that is moving into divine union right now, a lot of that energetic equivalent, it feels like that rapidness. It feels like that slide energy that we're getting right now due to the combination of the Gemini with the Sagittarius full moon. It's just a lot of things. It's like the slippery surface, right? That just things start moving very quickly, because that is that moment, that sense of like the climbing that we saw during the Taurus season, right? Those doubts and those feelers. That is that moment that we see that for a lot of the energy in the divine union, coming into divine union, that ability of seeing each other's vulnerabilities and being able to navigate and hold space for each other as you're experiencing them, that's that moment that almost feels like that overabundance of certainty, because this is an energy that is saying, I don't know if I want to be with an energetic counterpart. This is the energy that's almost affirming and saying, I want to be with that energetic counterpart come what may. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, even now for a lot of the energy in separation, that ability to articulate on what it is that someone aspires and desires, even that becomes the context through being able to have a productive conversation. Because that isn't a moment, if these are spaces or places wherein the feminine is articulating what they desire and the masculine is articulating what they desire in separation as it relates to what they foresee would be their ideal relationship scenario, that ability to articulate upon what that long-term pathwork is, that is either reinvigorating and reaffirming to the feminine that if the masculine can describe that in any capacity, it is a victory. And that is why we see that a lot of the feminine energy is still continuing to maintain a connection with the masculine in that modality, because that's almost the feminine energy saying, well, we might not want the same things, but there's still some sort of valuable, viable, energetic connection that's occurring there in the recognition point that we want different things that we're manifesting. That doesn't mean you have to end an energetic connection, right? Where for masculine, this is that modality of recognizing and identifying too, that when the feminine says that, they're not just putting you off to a certain degree. That's not an act of energetic rejection. That is the feminine energy observing and saying, you're indicating, because we have different manifestation goals, that we might not be able to move towards each other right now in a passionate connection. But that doesn't mean that we still can't maintain a worthy, strong, energetic partnership. We can still do something here, because this is the energy of the feminine building. These are the masculine and feminine potentially either coming into divine union because of those match manifestation goals, or reaffirming the placement of each other within one another's lives, because these are energies that are encountering each other on the healing journey. And even in that moment, that's that moment of looking towards one another and saying, I'm not just seeking the energetic connection with you for the sake of fulfilling a passionate space, but because we seem to desire the same things. We seem to perceive things in the same way, even if we're going in different directions. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Knight of Swords in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Two of Wands in its upright. Masculine and feminine energy, even in separation right now. We're just seeing that there's a lot of productive, positive communication. And even now, and I will point out, the only space or place where I'm seeing that something was potentially coming to energetic endings or coming into closure points is if the desire of not wanting to potentially move into a space or place of experiencing an abandonment wound. If this is those moments where someone is asking for a manifestation form goal to be brought up, asking what that manifestation is, and it sends someone moving in the opposite direction, this is the energy that isn't chasing after someone to try to get that manifestation goal. This is that moment that feels like the communication did its job in terms of identifying and recognizing the energy that feels like it's coming towards someone from a place of authenticity and clarity, versus someone who isn't able to amplify what those manifestation goals are. So if there's any construct right now of feminine experiencing that, if this is the feminine energy, is saying if asking what the manifestation goal is creates masculine acting frenetically or disappearing, this is the feminine energy saying, well, I guess asking the manifestation goal just did its job, right? This is the feminine energy going, I guess that cleared that up, right? So we see even now that for the masculine energy that is on the healing journey with the feminine, this is almost the masculine energy reaffirming to the feminine, saying, no, I understand and recognize that if I didn't have the ability to tell you what it is that I aspire and desire, I'm making something overly complicated. Like, this is almost the masculine energy saying, like, no, I get it. I understand that my own ability of showing up and having the confidence to tell you what I desire. This is the masculine saying, I know it's not easy. But this is the masculine energy saying, I'm brave enough to do difficult things. Like, that's the masculine saying, I've overcome my own abandonment wound. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable by telling you like what my hopes and dreams are. And so for the feminine that sees that, that's the feminine energy going, ah, like that's the feminine energy just going, ah, because that's the masculine, like that is the accomplishment point. That's the victory. And that's all, again, a lot of energy, even if they want different things right now. Even now, feeling like they're building a very strong energetic connection, because that's the feminine energy saying, you know what you want, and you aren't afraid to say it, and you're not afraid, and you don't keep it from me. That is the clarity, that is the beauty of a beautiful energetic connection, because that is the energy that says, like, we will continue forward in whatever vector that is, because I see that you appreciate that level and degree of openness and care and communication, right? That is the sign of the energy that is working on their own healing journey. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union frequency right now, the clarity, the optics, the clearness that you are able to provide in the context of knowing oneself enough that you're able to articulate on what it is that you aspire and desire to manifest going forward, that is that energy that feels that easement point, because that is also the energy that has navigated through a lot of the abandonment wounds in these past cycles in terms of recognizing and saying we want the same things. The only confusion point is potentially determining the small stuff. It's just like the little things, right? Like that's that moment. That's almost like that sense of feeling that affirmation, because these are energies that are coming into divine union. And the reason that a lot of that energy that is coming into divine union is because they say to each other, you make something energetically easy. You're able to be communicated with. You're able to speak on what you want, and you don't allow yourself to be triggered in the process. So that is the energy that we see. A lot of energy right now in separation, potentially starting to move into divine union frequency by having these productive, easy, open conversations and feeling the difference of what it feels like when energy is in that same vibration. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into the divine union frequency, or in the heart of the divine union frequency right now, because we're seeing that a lot of this is happening in the same way. That moment, if these are moments, if these are energies that have built, what do we see? A lot of the energy that's just coming into the divine union frequency right now, the thing that's missing in those new energetic connections is trust. That is why we see even now there's a little bit of that wait and see approach. There's that easement, that sigh of relief in recognizing and identifying someone who might potentially want the same things that you do. Now it's almost that moment of just building forth and identifying and recognizing what those insecurities are, what those vulnerabilities are. If that is something that is matched, that's the energy taking more of that wait and see. Masculine and feminine energy are deep in the heart of the divine union. That is that moment that you have that trust. We saw that all during that cycle between the Scorpio full moon and the Sag full moon, that moment of navigating forward, the triggering circumstances, metaphysically or tangibly, experiencing those moments of seeing another person's vulnerabilities. That is that moment that we experience and see that when we have those points, it's not what happens around us, but being able to maintain our own stability, our own grace in moments that are difficult or challenging. These are the energies that are in the heart of the divine union frequency. That is that trust fall in seeing someone and saying, even when you are at your most vulnerable, even when you are at your most weak, you are still energetically strong. That is why we see even now that a lot of that energy is almost speeding up some of those processes, moving towards things with even more determination, because that's almost that energy that says to itself, I've seen everything I need to see. I see, like, that's the energy that says, like, I see everything I need to see. And everything I see just motivates me forward even more. So we see even that, like, that is that feeling or expression of love, because that is that articulation point or that amplification of saying everything, even in those spaces that you are working on, I still see positivity. It feels like that gift, or it feels like that grace, which is why these energies are moving so firmly towards one another at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our High Priestess and our Six of Swords. This is why it is so valuable and important right now for so much of this energy to see the ability to talk towards the manifestation goals, because a lot of this energy right now, we saw there were a lot of new connections that were being formed at this time, especially between these last two full moon cycles, that were being built upon articulating and speaking about the past. Feminine energy is in that modality, and again, and masculine, that moment of that tipping point, and recognizing that the ability to look back on the past with clarity is amplified and magnified. The ability of building closure to the past needs to reach an articulation point by being able to express what you want and desire in the future. Because what occurs in those moments where someone is able to look back on the past with full clarity, and even an energetic feeling of regret or sadness, that's the energy of the feminine and masculine, recognizing, I can't fix that. That person's stuck on the past. That person's not ready to let go. That person's clearly identifying and saying that because they cannot speak towards their manifestation goal of what they want and aspire in the future, all I'm seeing there is an energy that is caught in the past, that is overly caught in the past. And that is that moment of the energy not taking it personally, saying, I do not want to build with, and for the feminine saying, I'm not going to build with masculine energy that hasn't learned the ability to let go. That ability to let go is expressed in the masculine, being able to articulate and say what they want going forward. And that's the feminine energy saying, it's not my responsibility to bring that out in the masculine. It's not my responsibility to say, well, maybe one day he'll be ready and I'll just continue to build forward with them in the process. This is the feminine energy that says it needs to be there now. Because if not, that's how we get in a connection where I might want to pull this way and I feel like they're pulling that way, because that is the energetic feeling of someone that doesn't want to move forward because they're caught in the past experience and they're refusing to energetically let go. That's the feminine saying that is not an internal problem. That is an external problem, and I just need to see it and recognize it and step away when I observe it. While for the masculine energy, because that's that moment of saying, if I base it on the assumption and saying, well, I'm sure one day they'll be ready, one day could be never. While for the masculine energy, in separation, this is the energy that by via V articulating what it is that they desire and aspire with the feminine energy. This is the masculine that recognizes and says to themselves and shows the feminine, I am ready to let go. I can observe the past, but I can also release the past by telling you what it is that I aspire and desire going forward. So we see even now that a lot of that energy, the healed energy, is feeling that fluidity and immediately having that energy, even if these energies are not in alignment, in relationality to what they desire to manifest going forward. Even that, best of terms. Look at this. This is the type of energy of saying there's still something beautiful here. There's still something worth maintaining, because we are finding each other on a healing journey, and our manifestations could change, right? That's the energy that almost says, if your manifestation ever meets my manifestation, you know where to find me, right? Like that's the energy of saying, that's how easy it can be when you articulate what you want and say, well, that's not my cup of tea, but if you change your mind, if you want that cup, I'll know where to come looking, right? Like that's that energetic compassion that can happen from a productive, positive moment. While for masculine and feminine energy, and for the energy that doesn't see that there, that's the energy that says, I'm not going to agonize as to why it's not there. I'm just going to observe it's not there and just walk away, just step away, just step back. Doesn't need an explanation, don't need to try to unpack why, don't need to like pull out your magnifying glass and try to figure out what it is. It's just there or it's not. And if it's not there, just accepting it and moving on. That's a lot of the work of the feminine, just saying, like, that's the feminine saying, I'm not going to let myself get caught into that space or place of agonizing as to why. While for masculine and feminine energy, and for the masculine being able to do those, that's the same thing. That's the masculine saying, yeah, I'm ready. I know the direction I'm going in. And the masculine that feels that confidence. And for masculine being able to do this feels like an internal journey of the self, because this is the masculine recognizing too and saying, by ability to articulate to the feminine what I want is my own ability of closing out the cycles of the past. So a lot of beautiful healing that's occurring right now, even in separation. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union. This is the energy that feels like it's like that slippery surface, right? These are energies right now that it's not that they're not carrying the past with them. These are the energies that are saying, through the energetic connection of the divine union, saying, you make what I carry easier to bear. That is why these energies are moving towards one another with so much rapidness, because it is the amplification that doesn't require that there wasn't anything in the journey prior to this point, but the ability of feeling that sense of the counterpart that says, you make what I carry lighter. And that doesn't mean that I put that responsibility on you, but it feels lighter just being with you. My burden feels lighter with you because it doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like the lightening of the energetic load. This is the energy that almost says, I would, regardless of what that is, I would always carry it with you because you make it a joy to carry. While for masculine and feminine energy, that is in the heart of the divine union frequency, this is that shifting that we saw that was occurring in being able to carry something in a different way that is making it energetically easier. And there's a lot of wisdom and understanding that is coming through on that. And it is as a result, a direct result of the work of healing the self in the present that is creating a new optics on the past. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Six of Swords in combination with our King of Wands in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful energy here. Absolutely beautiful. For masculine and feminine energy, deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, there's a lot of beauty that we see that is happening right now as it relates to looking back at the past. Your own healing journey feels like it is healing the past because your own ability to look back on something with a sense of understanding, with a sense of clarity, it doesn't make it better, but it creates the closure in recognizing how the significance on how far you have traveled in being able to see something in a way that you could not see it before. For both masculine and feminine energy here, look at this beautiful energy. Look what we're seeing that's happening here. For the feminine energy, that is that pathwork of finding your highest version of self and doing everything that one can do to embody it with, again, the energy of the masculine that supports and encourages you on the way. While for the masculine, having the feminine energy that has built that energetic resilience in knowing who they are, it reestablishes and it reaffirms who you are because it gives you the space and state to feel like you can trust your own, you can trust that you will not be misunderstood, because these are energies that work very hard in embodying the lessons of the past. So we see even now that these energies are going through that beautiful process now of not even feeling the energetic healing in the present, but it's building that deep context and being able to carry the experiences from the past with a greater sense of ease that is amplified by the work of the self in the present. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is why we see that rush is almost a lot of the energy is moving forward right now at a rapid pace. Because if this is energy that is, you work through showing each other their vulnerabilities, that has that openness and clarity, that is almost the expression or the expansion point that doesn't feel like moving in towards a counterpart is pulling you off of your own path. It feels like it's making your path easier because it feels like you want the same things. It's the inevitability. It's like that lightening of the energetic burden that occurs when you want the same things and you're working in harmony with someone that wants the same things as you. Like that's that, even when it's difficult, it becomes the energetic joy, right? Because they're doing them together. They're navigating both the positives and the negatives from the same perspective. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, if in separation, a lot of that energy right now, if in separation, this is a lot of that modality that we're seeing, that even if these energies are being open and expressive about what their manifestation goals are, even if these are not leading to to divine union connections, these are energies that are building solid, strong, foundational friendships here. Because what happens in those moments that you experience or express a moment that you're able to articulate your manifestation goal, and then you feel that sense of someone who's like, well, this is my manifestation goal. Like, that's not that moment you take it personally, say, well, forget you then. There's that moment of saying, well, that's really, like, that feels like these energies, even in that moment, it feels like it's reaffirming their own path because it's giving evidence and saying, someone like you exists. I just need to find someone like you that shares the same manifestation goals that I do, right? Like it feels like a balm on your own journey because it's that moment that feels like you're already reaching some kind of level or degree of energetic achievement in experiencing and building towards energy that is doing the same work as you, that you now can share that work together with. So even now we're seeing that this is either energy through these open communication channels that are either building very solid friendships by articulating the difference in the manifestation goal, but still having something persist between them. Or this is energy that is starting to feel like that movement towards divine union and saying, well, I like that too. All right, we'll see. Like that moment of having that being like, we're not committing to that, but we want the same things. And isn't that a nice thing, right? And for the energy that's not seeing that, even that ability of recognizing it, if the only thing we're seeing here that's potentially leading to separation is if someone is asking for someone to bring forth their manifestation goal and someone's like not able to do so, that's the energy being like, we want different things. I know what I want. They clearly don't know what they want. Or if they do know what they want, they're not eager to tell me. So that's the energy going, I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to wait around for it. I'm just going to accept that it is. Continuing to get clarification between our King of Wands in combination with our Two of Wands. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Three of Wands. Look at all these beautiful wands that we've got coming up today. Masculine and feminine energy that is in the divine union frequency. Or the energy in separation. This is what I mean. Like, even this is like one of those moments that, like, even if there isn't alignment, it's still beautiful. And for the masculine, I need to say, for the masculine energy to articulate this, and even if the feminine says to the masculine at this point, it's not really what I'm looking for. It's not like your manifestation goal and my manifestation goal. Like they're kind of not the same. Like even in that moment, the moment of the masculine, having that point of being able to articulate and speak to the feminine openly and have it build a point of positivity, have it build a point of acceptance, have it build a point of catharsis. Just that moment for a lot of the masculine energy feels like an energetic milestone because that isn't the masculine. Like that is the masculine. It's almost saying to themselves and saying, I can do it. I can do it. I can go ahead. I can articulate to the feminine what I aspire and dream. And nothing bad will happen. Just something nice will happen. I'll make a friend or I'll build forward in terms of coming into an energetic like partnership with someone. The possibility is there. So we see even now that for a lot of the masculine, that is that moment that may feel like a real beautiful, like lesson, because that's that moment of saying, wow, see, like when I'm open and clear, I give feminine the opportunity to be open and clear. It can be that easy, right? While for the feminine energy, again, even if these are spaces or places of separation, for the feminine energy to have the masculine openly articulate what it is they want, that is also the breakthrough in the feminine, because that's the feminine almost having a bit more flexibility here and going, well, maybe I'll be more flexible, because that's the feminine that says, look at that. Look, I see validation of a masculine when I ask them what they want. When I ask them what they seek, they just tell me what they seek. And that's the feminine saying, proof of concept. This is the feminine feeling the validation point, because even if this isn't leading to an energetic union, that ability of seeing the expression of someone who embodies those lessons and how they can be effectively applied, it feels like a breakthrough for both of the energies. Masculine and feminine, there's some new energy right now that's starting to move into the divine union frequency, because even if they're taking a wait and see right now, there's also that moment of being like, they want the same things I want. That feels great. Like that's that moment that feels kind of like that optimism that's almost being met with that sense of like, that satisfaction and saying, don't need to rush the process, but at least we know we're on the same page. While for the energy right now that is deep in the heart of the divine union, this is the energy going, I don't see any reason to wait. Like this is the energy almost going, if everything I see I like, and if everything it feels like it's easier, then what is the like that's the energy going, I was going to energetically wait, but then it just seemed kind of pointless to energetically wait. So we see even now that a lot of the energy moving in that way is kind of like it feels the inevitability. I told you that slide feels like, well, it feels silly to wait is almost like what we're seeing here, because so much of this feels like that last energetic cycle in the Taurus season is now like lubricating a lot of the work of the energy moving forward right now in productivity as it relates to path work going forward. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Swords in its reversal, our Wheel of Fortune in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Chariot. That's what we mean right now with the energy right now in the divine union frequency. Like the energy in the divine union frequency is just like full systems go, like just move forward, like that. Either the breakthroughs that happen internally are validating the path work for the energy right now to such an extent that it feels like that sense of like saying like that is the path work is affirmed through the perception shift of the past. Like that's the energy saying like that reaffirms that energetic commitment, if you will. While for the energy right now that is moving like in the divine, coming into the divine union frequency, if these are moments that you're building into the divine union frequency and there are tangibles that need to arrive, this is the energy that's just like moving very, very quickly right now. Because that's that moment or that's that experience. It just feels like everything feels like that energetic yes. Because there's that moment that we see that if these energies were navigating forward, seeing each other's vulnerabilities, weaknesses, but also in those moments, seeing them as nothing but strength. This is the energy that's like, well, I know I said I was going to wait. I said that there wasn't a rush, but why not rush it? Right? That's like the cart getting like someone being like let's put the cart in front of the horse because like there's no reason like that's like just that's just what it feels like, it's just like they're like not doing that, it feels almost illogical, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, what's very beautiful and lovely by a lot of this energy that's in separation during this time is that moment that even if there isn't alignment here, even if you recognize and identify that what you aspire and desire versus what another energy aspires and desires is different, there's that moment that feels like there's a possibility there even in that moment, because even for the feminine, like there's that adaptability point in recognizing and identifying, like when we have that openness and we talk about what it is that we want openly, this is the feminine and masculine, even in those moments saying, well, I know if I ever change my mind, I know if my manifestation goal feels like it's closer to what they want, I know that that possibility is there, because that is that moment of feeling the energetic security of being adaptable, because the clarity and the intentionality of the energy is present. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Wheel of Fortune and our Three of Wands. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Swords in its reversal. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. There is something about this. If this is a moment that you're having right now and you're having these breakthroughs in communication, even in places and spaces where like there is an alignment, but you're seeing the difference of like the healed energy and the way that they can communicate about these things, even then, I'm telling you right now, this is pathwork of purpose. This is pathwork that even if you're in separation, you say it was worth it. Because it is that moment of effectively being able to see something from the past from a different perspective in what you're experiencing in the present, that's like potentially reaffirming to some of the energy just how valuable that movement forward was, because it's giving you even more clarity on past experiences by receiving, even if it isn't leading to partnership, receiving what would be present and create partnership if the manifestation goal was matched. And that ability of seeing that, it feels like a benchmark for a lot of the energy in separation, because it feels like an accomplishment of the self to be able to have such a productive conversation. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into the divine union frequency, this is a little bit humorous, because this is energy that almost told themselves, it almost said, we're going to take things slow, right? This is the energy of saying like, okay, we're not committing to each other. We're just telling each other what it is that we both desire. And this is the energy that's like considering that now, because this is the energy coming into divine union that's having that moment of feeling that sense of energetic satisfaction and possibility opening up, in that like feeling of saying, I know that they want the same things as me. I know that they aspire for the same things. We are in alignment. So even now, a lot of the energy coming into divine union, the thing that might feel a little triggering to some of that energy is the clarification of feeling, experience of remembering the energy from the past where you may have hoped for that easement point and you didn't receive it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, this is that energy. There's just a lot of energy right now activating very quickly on plans, like putting a lot of plans into practice, because this is the energy saying, why wait? Like this is the energy feeling the validation point in everything that almost creates that sense of saying does it serve an energetic purpose to wait? Is almost what we're seeing here. While for masculine and feminine energy, deep in the heart of the divine union frequency, the ability to look back on something from the past with new perspective. It feels reinvigorating. It feels like you're ready to face those things, because your own ability of seeing something in a way that you couldn't see it before is creating that lightness of the energetic burden. It doesn't feel like something that you are afraid of navigating. It feels like something that you are ready to, built upon your own perception. Final card for today's spread between our Chariot energy and our Four of Swords in its reversal. Final card. Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Swords. Look at everybody being all courageous today. We love this. Masculine and feminine energy. This is it's that Sag energy coming in. Masculine and feminine energy right now, deep in the heart of the divine union frequency. This is that moment or confidence in the pathwork. And that is almost like the energetic surprise, because this is the energy that said, I set forward. I didn't move forward hoping to heal the past. But what do you know? The way to heal the past is by going forward, because this is the energy that said I went forward, and I was able to heal something from the past in the process. I wasn't even expecting to do it. This is the energy going, look what I did. This is the energy feeling a lot of confidence in their own path work because that's occurring. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union, this is that moment that the energetic equivalent of experiencing things right now. It's not that those doubts and those fears don't crop up, but the doubts and the fears don't crop up in a questioning of the other energetic counterpart. It's more about everything else around you, right? But that's the energy that's moving towards each other, because it's that amplification that feels like it's articulated by saying, come what may. Right? That's the energy that says, I'm making that choice, because that isn't the energy that feels like they're moving towards someone for a manifestation goal. The prioritization is moving with the energy, come what may. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, this is that feeling of this is the healing. This is healing, even if these energies want different things right now, even if through the articulation of a manifestation goal, you're recognizing that there is a lack of alignment. That ability of doing so and speaking from a place of openness and honesty and clarity about it, that is the energy that feels like even in that moment, it is a positive, because even in that moment, there's that point of saying your ability to talk openly about your manifestation goal, it means there's a possibility your manifestation might change someday. And now that we have that clarity between us, we can both recognize what it is that the other individual wants. And that is a place or space. It doesn't feel like the ending of a cycle. It leaves that open possibility of what might occur if the manifestation goals become more energetically aligned, right? Bottom of the deck on this reading today. Oh, there they are. We've got here the Lovers card. Masculine and feminine energy. I'll put it this way. How do we explain this? So the thing about what we're seeing that is occurring here right now has to do with the energetic reprioritization of the type of energetic connection that you're hoping to achieve, as opposed to building forward and building towards another individual without having that point of energetic clarity, right? And a lot of this energy that we're seeing here is the understanding that when we build towards another, and we build into that passion center, that inevitability or that feeling that we have towards another energetic frequency, that is something that is often undeniable. But our own ability of recognizing that and mitigating that in such a way, that is that articulation point that we are energetically seeing here that requires that sensitivity, because we see even now that a lot of the energy deep in the heart of the divine union frequency is navigating spaces and places wherein energies made themselves energetically unhappy for the sake of trying to navigate forward in that way, right? So that moment or that modality of being able to recognize the ephemeral nature of compassionate energy requires that sense or that space of looking towards the counterpart and not looking towards them from a sense of energetic ownership so much as one of wanting what is energetically best for another, right? And that ability to do so, it feels like it creates that challenging space. And we see even now for a lot of the energy in the divine union frequency, being able to articulate on that is a little bit untenable, right? Because there's that moment that it doesn't feel like you can just go through the paces of feeling like that. There's that moment that requires the work on the self enough so that we can leave ourselves vulnerable to share that vulnerability and that energetic empathy with one another. So that ability in doing so is why we need to go through this process or this work of trying to heal our own energetic centers. Because the more that we're able to heal our own self, the more that we're able to expand upon that healing and offer it to others via the act of love. And so for the energy across all of the frequencies right now, that sense of recognition, that ability to do so, that is that moment that we are identifying that requires that sense of working on the self in order to facilitate the partnership or the ideal partnership that we aspire to receive in another. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a few updates to bring you guys up to speed on. First and foremost, our next tarot class will be held on Wednesday, June 16th. We will be focusing our studies on the High Priestess. If you missed our previous classes, you've got a whole month to catch up. Well, I got a few weeks at this point. All you need to do to become a part of those classes is become a paid subscriber to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your subscription to my Substack will grant you access to the live class, as well as the course materials and recordings for all of the previous classes. So you've got ample opportunity to catch up. You'll also have access to a free one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to tarot or your own spiritual journey. Also, if you opt to become a founding member of my Substack, not only do you get a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a one-on-one mentorship reading with me, where we will assess where you are on your own tarot and spiritual journey, and I'll give you insights onto how to best utilize both the classes and your own pathwork to the best advantage going forward. One of the things I did with these classes is I really tried to focus on creating them so that they would be useful to both the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There is a bit of something for everyone there. So thank you to everybody who's already joining us there. And I look forward to potentially working with you. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, you can go ahead and please be sure to be following me on Substack, because that's where we put a lot of updates in relationality to my newsletter, events, new offerings, the whole shebang. It's all over there. So graystrega.substack.com. Also, we are running a giveaway right now for not one but two 15-minute tarot readings. Congratulations to our winner last month. All you need to do to win this giveaway is head over to the survey on my Linktree. Fill out the 2-minute travel survey and you will grant entry into our next giveaway. But we are doing it a little bit different this month, because whoever wins that giveaway, I will ask them who referred them to take the survey. Whoever referred them will also win a reading. So if you've already taken the survey, thank you. But if you would like to increase your odds of winning, all you need to do is forward that survey to some friends who you feel might also be interested in a tarot retreat. Finally, I have a few other offerings that I'm just beginning to offer that I wanted to let you guys know about. First and foremost, on top of my standard readings, I am now offering tarot mentorship. Mentorship classes are unique and individualized for the client. They can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class package. So 4 45-minute classes at a discount. Those, I am only taking a very limited number of students because they require a lot of individuated work. But thank you so much to everyone who's already enrolled, and I look forward to potentially working with you. And second of all, for those clients that are now seeking more consistent, routine tarot support, I am offering weekly tarot insight packages. So those a package of 4 tarot readings, 4 30-minute readings that you can purchase at a discount. so that way you can continue in a regular, more consistent way on keeping updated on where you are on your own personal journey. Again, a lot of the reasons I'm offering this is by the recommendations and suggestions of my current clients. Thank you guys so much. I'm really happy to be able to offer this. And if you have any advice on something you'd like me to offer, don't be shy. Let me know. That's it for us today. We're going to get started on personal readings. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day, and we will do this again